almost a century, three nations have dominated international rugby league. Allies at war, but the fiercest of enemies on the field. The Kangaroos, the Kiwis and the Lions have produced some of the greatest contests. And now, as we approach a new era, competition for world dominance of the greatest game of all has never been more intense.
Big barrel! He's over!
This is the Tri-Nation Series.
And here's Fittler, they're away again, Australia. Fittler will score! Fittler has scored for the Aussies, the captain!
Australia.
Kamali, he's 10 metres out. There's big numbers there. The pass comes over the top. Here comes the try for Richardson. Now, Joyce, I think he's going to give the try. Yes, he gives the try.
Great Britain.
Now he's playing Newlove, a dummy half, and he goes for a Newlove. He's big and he's strong and he's over. Stacey Jones is off for the Kiwis. He's 20 metres out. Jones on the inside ball. There's defence there. They won't stop him. Will he sell out?
New Zealand.
And Kearney is away for New Zealand. Inside the 30-metre line. The support comes. It's Jason Lowry.
Tonight, from Suncorp Stadium, Game 2 of the Bartercard Tri-Nation Series, Australia versus Great Britain, here on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
And thanks for joining us at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane for Game 2 of the Bartercard Tri-Nation Series. And a welcome back to Great Britain. They have brought with them a small army of supporters, not quite the Barmy army, but plenty of British club jumpers amongst the crowd here. And this Great Britain side led by Andy Farrell, just a young man in rugby league really, first captain the side as a 21-year-old. And this is the Great Britain Lions outfit for tonight. Radlinski, Robinson, Conley, a Wigan connection at the back. Senior and Sullivan, the halves from Leeds, Harrison, Sheridan. And the forwards, Farrell the captain, Morley, Betts, well known to Australian fans, McDermott, Cunningham and Lawton. The coach, Andy Goodway. And Yeston Harris, Paul Vaughton.
Yeah, he's one of the best players in rugby league in Great Britain at the moment. Very classy, he's got plenty of speed, good passing skills, he's very elusive. And look to him to lay on some tries for the Great Britain centres out wide tonight. He's also got a wonderful kicking game and his goal kicking around 75-80%.
He was the British Player of the Year in 1998 and a player who has obviously revelled under the coaching of Graham Murray at Leeds, who were the Challenge Cup champions this year. There's some big boys in the forward pack, McDermott and Lawton. Both weigh well over the 110 kilo mark. That was Dale Lawton we saw. And a bloke on the bench, Paul Anderson, will lay claims to being the biggest forward in the game. He's 122 kilos. So they lack nothing in size, Great Britain. And we welcome our viewers taking our coverage throughout Europe and the United Kingdom on Sky UK and in New Zealand on Sky and TV3. And a delay with the Australian side coming out. Well, it's quite simple what's ahead of this side tonight. The green and gold, they must win to stay in contention for making the Tri-Series final. Having lost last Friday night to New Zealand in Auckland 24-22. Smattering of changes to the starting lineup. And a couple of test debutants in the lineup tonight, including from the Dragons, Sean Timmins, he wears jumper number 4. From the back, Lockyer, Rogers, Gidley and Timmins, Saylor. Matthew Johns comes into the side, Kamali at halfback. Fittler switches to lock. And the remainder of the pack, Kossev, Fletcher, Howe, Gower and Britt. Chris Anderson, of course, the coach. Girdler makes his test debut off the bench.
And one of the key changes made by coach Chris Anderson sees Matthew Johns come into the 5/8 role, pushing Brad Fittler to lock. I've got no doubt Fittler plays equally as well, whether in the 13 or the 6. But what I've seen from Matthew Johns this year for Newcastle, I think it's just reward that he gets a starting role for the green and golds.
Now, earlier tonight, a very special event. The coin toss was conducted by 10-year-old Philip Brabin. Now, Philip's father, Drew, is a lieutenant colonel with the Deployment Joint Forces headquarters stationed in East Timor. And the Australian players actually will be wearing yellow armbands tonight in recognition of the work our troops are doing up there, but a big thrill for young Philip. And the toss won by Great Britain. with our referee at the centre of things, the Kiwi, David Pakietto. And now we stand by for the national anthem, and the Great Britain anthem sung by Isabel McGoffin. Performed quite beautifully there by Isabel McGoffin, a student at Queensland's Conservatorium of Music. So too is Dimitri Kopanakis, who will now provide us with the Australian anthem. Are off here at Suncorp Stadium. There was a forecast of some chance of rain tonight. Crowd, I must say, not overly big, but it is quite a moment in history that Australia and Great Britain do battle tonight. The first time a full-strength Lions and Kangaroos outfit has clashed since November 20, 1994 at Elland Road in Leeds, and that was won by Australia 23 points to 4. So we go back a fair way. In the interim, we've had Super League tests in 1997, but never quite at full strength. Well, boys, what about it? After Australia going down to New Zealand last week, what sort of improvement is required tonight?
Well, they'll obviously need a better start. Kiwis got away with a barnstorming one last week. Australians must make sure they're very strong. And of course, the big advantage that Great Britain have tonight is the fact that so many of their players have just finished their season. We have quite a number of players who probably haven't played for something like 6 or 7 weeks. So that is something of a concern.
I've got no doubt they'll improve 100% on what they showed last week. I mean, they were very rusty. They hadn't played for 5, 6, 7 weeks, and I think they'll be a lot better tonight. No doubt about it. It's hard to gauge what the Great Britain side can or can't do. We haven't seen them for a long, long time. I'm sure they've got to get used to playing with each other as well. They had one trial earlier, I think a couple of weeks ago, last week against the Burleigh Bears, who won the Queensland Cup this year. Just snuck home 10-6. I think you throw that form out the window, and let's look for a big game here tonight.
Well, they played their entire squad in that match, so there was plenty of shuffling about. I tell you what, we're going to need a dustpan and brush for some of the remains of the fireworks display here. As you can see, the old plastic rake is out, and just a real anticlimax to the start of what is a very big occasion.
I was doing that this morning, except I was following my horse around.
And Great Britain are ready. The clubs represented here, Wigan, St Helens and Leeds, they make up the bulk of the side.
Here we go, guys.
A Kiwi in charge, Pakietto. Bit of pressure on him tonight, and we're underway with Yeston Harris. And back they will come. Over the top, Matthew Gidley made his test debut last week. Scored a try, in fact, on debut. In what was a pretty good performance. Barry McDermott able to spin away from a tackle there. I mentioned earlier the weight in the pack for Great Britain. Overall test experience is in favour of Great Britain over Australia, and head-to-head, the 112th occasion these two sides clash tonight. And that is as close as it gets. Just one the difference.
He's a bit dusty out there at the moment, Darren Britt. It's a pretty strong charge up the middle for Great Britain. Takes it 45 out. McDermott put a shoulder into Britt. He's still recovering. Andy Farrell now left foot away down the middle of the field.
And Andy Farrell in his 17th test tonight, his 12th as captain. Back comes Darren Lockyer, replacing Robbie Ross tonight. Wendell Saylor with it. I think there would be a few arguments with the fact that Wendell Saylor was Australia's best last Friday against the Kiwis. And he was pretty close to being best on ground. Sean Timmins gets his first touch. The boy from Wollongong in the green and gold for the first time. And now away with Kosep. Over the top there, another player making a debut tonight is Ryan Sheridan, the number 7 for Great Britain. They also have a couple of debutants on the bench, Anderson and Hay. So milestones in their careers. Britt, he was a little dusty, a little slow to get up and play the ball that time. Matthew John for Lockyer, not a good ball from Lockyer for Rogers. And back in field he comes. Keith Senior's over the top there. The number 4 for Great Britain, coming off an outstanding season. And Kamali gets his first kick of the night. Robinson is on the right wing for Great Britain. Dangerous player. So too the fullback Radlinski. And containing the tackle of Timmins. So a confident start for young Sean Timmins.
Yeah, this number 2 here, he's the best player that Great Britain have in their lineup. I know that Farrell gets plenty of raps and captains aside, but Jason Robinson, outstanding since coming into Test football. A quick tap taken here by Connolly. It's going to be called back.
Acknowledge the mark. Acknowledge the mark. No.
Oh, that's a shame. He was called. He was called back. He'd made 20 metres easily, Gary Connolly.
The referee saying that he did not acknowledge the mark. But no doubt that in England would have been play on. We'll come back for Farrell to fine touch, 35 out from his own line.
So Great Britain ball. Cunningham is the man in the 9 for Great Britain. They've got a real battle for hooking duties in the starting side. McDermott was tackled there, but Cunningham and Lowe's are the 2 hookers that they could call upon. It's Cunningham who gets the nod for tonight. But don't be surprised if there's a change next week. And Farrell, a short pass. They attack on the right side. Dennis Betts in this Great Britain side. It's a welcome back to Australian shores. Of course, spent 3 seasons with the Auckland Warriors. And he now becomes the veteran in the pack for this Lions outfit. There's Yeston Harris fending away from Kamali. Kamali gets a second shot at him. They're 30 metres out. And getting just a little bit of momentum here, Great Britain. Farrell, his left boot. Gower came up on him. Wasn't much of a kick, and Saylor comes running back, and Dennis Betts was first man there. So the Australians with it on their own 20. They're up, but Howe is hit. The Great Britain defence comes up. Morley was there with Harris.
Been a good start for Adrian Morley. Unfortunately for Great Britain, going on too long in the tackle for the referee's liking. Morley, a couple of nice touches with the football. And there's some strong defence on Rodney Howe front on. Harris came in to finish.
Free kick with Gower, and Howe gets another charge, and Morley's first up there again. A duel has started between Howe and Morley, the 10 and the 12. And Darren Britt cops the treatment this time from Lawton and Cunningham. Look at this tackle, Morley. Wasn't quite as effective as the previous tackle. But Howe may be looking up next time when he carries forward. Here's Gower, 40 metres out, and Kamali's pass is put down. On the ball.
Well, it's strong defence. It's punishing defence by the Great Britain team tonight. They're really making their mark. But Australia have looked all right with the football on that set of 6. Wendell had a huge look there at his opposing player. And mistake made there by him, but they spun the ball out wide and found some space.
Well, they come back. The tuning is Jason Robinson, and that was Robinson on that occasion, but Sullivan's on the left wing. A story about Anthony Sullivan. Originally, he wasn't included in a 39-man train-on squad and got a late call-up, and now he's in the starting 13. And that's all happened over the past month. A Welshman on the left wing for Great Britain, and that's the way they're headed as Morley carries inside the Aussie half. 40 metres out. And Cunningham infield for Sheridan. They've got a good number 7 on the bench too, Sean Long, who I'm sure we're going to see plenty of tonight. Cunningham at dummy half, 40 metres out. That doesn't quite find the mark. Radlinsky has to rush a kick. And it's got a little bit too much weight on it. And we'll come back to the 20.
Yes, you mentioned Sean Long. A little bit surprising he's not in the starting 13. But obviously the Great Britain selectors opting to go for the Leeds pairing of Sheridan and Harris. And a penalty going against Barry McDermott for a swinging arm. The number 10 is the man penalised. He'll come in a moment. And there it is. Not that subtle.
I'm pretty sure he came up with nothing. It was hardly a scoring blow from the number 10, Barry McDermott. A penalty against his side, and it's a 30-metre gain for Australia from the kick as well. It was a good one. Howe wants work. Well, I'm pretty sure he was stung last week. He was outplayed by the Kiwi props, Rodney Howe. And now Darren Britt. 35 metres out from the Great Britain line. Michael Vella is on the bench tonight. Jason Stevens not part of the 17. There's a flat ball for Fletcher. He's 20 metres out. Then for Timmins. And tackle. 8 out. Senior got there in cover defence. And from dummy half they go with Gidley. If he was able to slip away a ball, the try was on offer on the right side. Gower and Matthew Johns. Kamali, the inside pass. Kosev stood for Fittler. And Fittler's in front of the posts. And then on the inside, put down by Gower.
Take the knock on, no advantage.
Good play there from the Kangaroos tonight. They have found space down the right-hand side a couple of times with some cut-out passes. Beautiful ball there from Brad Fittler. Fletcher into some space. A drawn and pass situation. And the support came in Timmins. Looked like he might get his first try in his debut. But a nice tackle in the end from Keith Senior pulled him down. And then Fittler with the footwork and looking for the inside pass, but it was knocked down.
Stay there.
Scrum, as you can see, 10 metres out. And Sullivan gets a touch, a Welshman. He's expected to be the Welsh captain at the World Cup next year. Robinson taking off. Peter Sterling has praised him highly, Jason Robinson. He has 8 tries in 10 Test matches. Senior off a good pass from McDermott. Good counter-attack there from Great Britain. And Cunningham infield is Sheridan. And then on for Harris. And inside for Farrell. On the spin. The ball is not handled by Harris. He tried something a little daring. It's play on for the Aussie. Matt Rogers. Door was just open, but it was shut there by Robinson. Rogers was looking to link up with Saylor. Trying to work out how Rogers got to that part of the field from the right wing. Fletcher.
Come on, boy.
Senior was slow to clear the ruck there. Britt. That pass also a stray. Lockyer. Hands from Johns. And again on the bounce for Saylor. Well, it's a little ad-lib this early in the game. Saylor proving a handful. That pass has been knocked by a Great Britain hand. They've regathered.
Wait here, wait.
And he's scrambling quite well, Great Britain, on a couple of occasions now. If that pass from Wendell Saylor had found its mark, it looked as though try time in the corner.
Here, come on.
But they've got out of it. And they now take it outside their 30.
Wait here, come on.
Michael Vella getting in there in defence. The 17 for Australia. His second Test appearance tonight. He's on for Darren Britt. Senior. Off a Morley pass. And Kamali is around the legs. Yeah, pretty even the defensive workload so far. Harris inside pass. They're 5 metres inside their own half. No score in this second match of the tri-series. And now Cunningham picked up by Gower. Offloaded there for Betts. And fed on for Conley. He's headed back infield. Conley playing his 21st Test match tonight. Gary Conley. Season back spent some time with Canterbury. That kick is from Sheridan. Lockyer in front of his Brisbane fans. And Lockyer is away, and there's big trouble here. Rogers in support. The pass is knocked down by Sullivan. He saved a try. I have no hesitation saying that. 50 metres out. Sullivan doesn't get a mitt to it. The Aussie score.
Oh, no doubt about it. Some clever play there from Sullivan, because he could have just gone and covered Rogers back on the inside, but he decides to get in between them. He could have hung and just probably caught Rogers. He's pretty quick, Sullivan, but that was a very handy hand.
And this is big Paul Anderson tackled. 122 kilos. Cunningham takes off from dummy half. Makes 18 metres. They're inside the 20. First time in the match, Sheridan. Then for Harris. Harris tries it himself and Rogers covers up. Did well, Matt Rogers, and now has lost it. And his real penalty to the Aussies.
Yeah, he got smashed in the tackle, Matt Rogers. He was going nowhere. Someone came over the top. Could have been Andy Farrell, the captain. And he's down and out. Rogers. This bloke can play. I'll tell you what, he is a very good hooker, Cunningham, from the St Helens club. He does this time after time after time for his club. A darting run. He's proved very dangerous tonight already.
So Friday night football, second match of the tri-series with Matt Rogers down. We will break. Australia and Great Britain 0-0.
This weather up.
Suncorp Stadium. Australia and Great Britain 0-0. Matt Rogers goes to the bench. Good to see him back on his feet. And Ryan Girdler comes out in what is acknowledged as his test debut. He did play in a couple of Super League internationals. Ryan admits this is it. This is full strength, and he's there on his merits. And now Darren Britt back out there, and somehow fashioned a pass there for Darren Smith. I've lost count of the number of passes that have reached their man on the bounce so far in this clash already. Gower, blindside play. Jason Smith into the action, and now Gidley is over halfway. He's 30 metres out. Gidley standing up Sullivan, and Betts comes from behind on the Newcastle centre. 15 metres out. That was a dummy half. Very slow play the ball. Here's the penalty to the Australians. Well, the Great Britain side. In fact, here's Sinbin for Dennis Betts. Well, this Kiwi referee, Mr. Pacquietto, is leaving a mark on the game already. And Great Britain is down to 12.
Now, I don't know if it's a particularly good mark with that decision. I think that's very tough. Quick restart from Australia. Britt takes it inside the 10. You'd think that they must score in this set of 6 against a shortened defence. Vella, thumped by Cunningham.
Well, I've got a feeling they were going to go for goal until Betts was Sinbin. Now it's 13 on 12 and they will continue to attack. Matthew Johns delivers the pass. First try, it's the captain. Fittler scoring for the Australians. Betts watches on. He should be in the dressing room. We'll worry about that later. It's 4-0.
He should be on the field, Andrew. I think it was a very tough call, but it's one that the referee has gone with. Certainly haven't had a predominance of it in the first 12 minutes of this game, so I think it's a pretty tough call, but it's all academic now. Australia take advantage. Gower took the tap. You're right, they would have taken the kick for goal. And Matthew Johns, a lovely little pass here. Fittler running a good line. Straight into the gap, and too strong.
Yeah, when you're short in defence, as Great Britain were, it's very hard to defend 5-10 metres out from your own line when players are running at angles and also straightening up into gaps, and they just couldn't control it. And Fittler's one of the best at running at those gaps. He can create them. He can also get through them. The anguish on Dennis Betts' face. You realise if he was still out there, he might have filled a hole somewhere. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, very tough decision. 12 minutes into a match.
The reason I said he should be in the dressing room is because, well, that's the position for the sin bin player. He can't watch on from the bench. And Ryan Girdler straight on the field and becomes number 1 kicker. From 20 metres out, Girdler's first kick. Unsuccessful. The Aussies are on the board. It's 4-0 in the Tri-Nation Series.
Nothing silly from here, fellas.
So 14 gone and 4-0. Australia leading Great Britain, and they're trying the short kickoff. My gee, there's some height on the kick. It allowed the Great Britain players to get through. Gower gathered for the Aussies, but not a bad play.
Well, it's a great tactic if you get the football back. Unfortunately, if you don't, you give away plenty of field position.
Well, he's kicking it off a witch's hat. That's why he got the height. Something the DMR use. And here's Gower to halfway, hammered. From time to time, it's that man Morley. And now Kamali. From halfway, that's Sullivan's wing. He's up close to the line. He's found touch. I reckon 2 or 3 centimetres from the corner post.
Brett Kamali looking to get his troops moving. Report from the sideline, Matt Rogers. Some slight concussion. That's why we see Ryan Girdler playing on this right wing. And for Great Britain, Barry McDermott, a lower back problem, but he will be back.
Reunion of sorts tonight in the 6 and 7 for the Australians. Ryan Girdler slipped in here to the right wing, of course, for Rogers, but Johns and Brett Kamali was a product of Newcastle, the Lakes United club, before linking with the Melbourne Storm in 1998. Matthew Johns, I guess you could say he was an understudy to Andrew and Matthew.
Come on, 6.
Cunningham. And these bench players are some of the more experienced players. Here's Big Anderson.
Yeah, keep an eye on the number 15, Paul Sculthorpe. He took the ball up just before Anderson. He's a very good player, very mobile. The kick once again to Wendell Saylor on the first bounce. Not a strong kicking game so far from Great Britain. And here's Saylor again proving a handful. Beats 4, makes it outside the 30.
And to the right, Darren Smith starts them up for his Canterbury teammate, Darren Brett. Over the top came Anderson. Followed up here by Vella. Great Britain, they were caned in the penalties in that trial match against the Burleigh Bears last week. Paul was telling me before the game, 16-6 was the count. And they might be on the wrong end again tonight. Here's Gower tackled 32 metres out. And Matthew Johns, wide pass from dummy half for Lockyer. And they just open up for Lockyer. Then on the inside, easy try, Jason Smith. It's a clear way to the try line for Jason Smith. And 8-0 the score.
And Jason Smith gets across for the second. Wonderful vision from Darren Lockyer. Don't forget they're up against a 12-man defence. They get a quick play of the ball. Goes to Lockyer. If he frees it there, you can see the players coming across for Great Britain. They've got numbers, but have a look at how lazy these players are on the inside. Play continues, and Lockyer just straightens up. A yawning gap there, and a simple reverse pass to Jason Smith, who scores under the post.
He's a marvellous player, isn't he, Darren Lockyer? Absolutely brilliant on his feet. He doesn't run, he glides across the field. And Jason Smith, who set up Matthew Gidley the first time he touched the ball for a nice 40-metre run, he set that up nicely and gets the try there. Simple backing up by him. He had a real good second half last week, Jason Smith, and since coming on as a replacement, he's been heavily involved.
Girdler's second kick is from right in front. Penrith centre. He was an omission from the squad originally. Little surprising. And then he got the call up for Brad Thorne, which was also surprising, replacing a forward. So 10-0 the score, this second match of the Tri-Nation Series. And 10-0, and again we've got this short kick-off happening. Well, the Aussies are awake to it, and Lockyer's up there this time. He positioned himself on the 30. So 2 out of 2 they've failed, and now they've given away a penalty.
Yeah, Paul Sculthorpe here penalised for coming in when a second tackle wasn't needed. Lockyer takes it, and the number 15 comes in late to make a tackle.
Questionable pass there from the free kick for Howe, and now they've caught Great Britain inside the 10. Well, this penalty count's becoming embarrassing.
Oh, it's hammer time. Penalty, 6-1.
Well, I think they want the bloke who refereed the Burleigh Bears match back. At least it was only 16-6. This could end up 30-6. Kamali. And all of a sudden, Australia are inside the 20 again. Rodney Howe tackled 11 out. That's the first of 6. And the Australians are queuing up. Michael Vella. 5 metres out. Into the right. Kamali. Fittler. Good tackle, Morley. I haven't seen Fittler handle that well possibly all season. Here's Kosev. Stumbling to the 10-metre line. The Great Britain defence gives them a chance to regroup, and Kamali's there. Nice ball for Matthew Johns. Harris was up. Now Senior puts pressure on Fletcher. Able to offload for Kamali. Good tackle there from Radlinski. And last tackle. It was a late call there, a fifth. Back there for Matthew Johns. Radlinski is in goal, and Radlinski has lost it. And now, well, I think this will be a Great Britain penalty. It is. There was interference there on Radlinski in the scramble for the ball.
Very good football from both teams. Nice scrambling defence once again. On that occasion, Brian Fletcher ruled to be offside.
Very much the relieving penalty. There's another flat ball for Anderson to carry over the 40-metre line. Now he's getting square here. Great Britain, another penalty. 6-3 will be the count. Well, he's jamming down on the 10 metres from the restart. And now it's Great Britain on the attack. 35 metres out. Sheridan. No sign yet of Sean Long on the bench for St Helens half. And across field they go. Senior's taken out by Harris. Interesting play. Now 25 metres out. And infield they come. Was that forward to Morley?
Come on.
Sean Long is now there in 14. He's the man at dummy half. So they've got both number 7s out there, both halfbacks at least. And tackled is Sculthorpe, 15 metres from the line. Vella was the man over the top. And they come to the left. Sheridan and Farrell, the captain for Harris. Jinking run, he's 15 metres out. Betts is back from the sin bin. So it's 13 on 13. And Long goes for a dart to within 5. Quick play the ball. And a chance for Great Britain with Farrell's kick. Can they cover up? They have.
Knock on a few boys, put him in that.
Well, he's ruled a knock-on against Great Britain, against Sullivan.
Well, this is very interesting. It was a pretty good kick from Andy Farrell. Let's just have a look at the end of it.
Come on, fellas.
Again, I thought it could have gone the other way.
Decision. Australia back in possession and on the 30-metre line. They could have had a line drop out. So while Betts was in the sin bin, 2 tries to the Australians, and they've certainly had the better of possession in their opponent's half. And now up with Rodney Howe. Hitting forward. His 8th hit up for the night. Leads the count for the Australians. Matthew Johns running. They stood back. Long is there with Anderson. This is the 5th tackle. Fiato's got them back 10 metres, but only just that. Kamali, an Alfie Langer style kick from Kamali. 20 metres out for Smith. That's Darren Smith. And passing for his brother, who may well have been KO'd before he got the ball.
Great little play there, wasn't it, from Brett Kamali. Some good stuff. Jason Smith looks like he's injured.
Have a look.
Still on the deck.
Square up.
But a piece of individual play there. And then in the end, it was a strong tackle on Jason Smith by Connolly. And he might have collected a knee as he went down.
Yeah, lovely little kick there from Brett Kamali. A fine kick game. Darren Smith off the bench getting involved onto his brother. A nice tackle from Gary Connolly coming over on the last.
It certainly wasn't a Great Britain player that KO'd him. I think that replay showed graphically Jason Smith, the back of his head really did slam into the ground. And no surprise, he's off to the bench.
0.
We start the resumption of play from the changeover. 10-0. And Yeston Harris. There was some speculation earlier this year that there was some interest from the North Sydney Bears for Harris for next season.
I think Yeston Harris would handle NRL football fairly comfortably. We first saw him play for Wales back in 1995. He was a standout performer then. And he's gone on and done wonderful things for Leeds. McDermott flicks one out the back, finds Morley. They keep it alive.
There's the toaster play, just spat up in the air from McDermott. Completion rate fairly even. Greater share of the ball for the Australians, and Harris's kick finds Lockyer just inside his 20. And Girdler getting plenty of game time with Rogers off.
Okay, fellas.
And taking a crossfield, Ryan Girdler. Yeah, he was the last of the inclusions in this Australian squad when Brad Thorne was forced out. could say they're down a forward. Wendell Saylor tackled short of the 40-metre line. And now Darren Smith. Almost to halfway, copying the treatment into the tackle. And Darren Smith got up with a little push and shove as well.
Yeah, Barry McDermott not making many friends in the Australian team out there as Craig Gower spins, finds Darren Lockyer in support. A cutout pass to Matthew Gidley. Can't beat Senior. That'll be 6 again. Referee has not seen it. Said it wasn't played at, so that's 4 tackles gone.
Good defence again from Morley on that play. Smith is 35 out. And Long, not a big man, the 14. Farrell was there as an assist. Last tackle, Fittler, hit him in the head. Was it too late for a Falcon? I think he got Lockyer right in the face.
I think the ball was actually supposed to cut out Lockyer and head out wide where there was a gap. He wasn't expecting it. Put him right in the scone. The Great Britain attack will improve with Sean Long out there. He's had a great season with the St Helen club. He came on and spurred them to a win against Bradford. They were unbeatable, Bradford, but Long set up a try, might have scored one in their 10-6 win. He's a pretty good player.
He's got a bad shoulder as well. In fact, they thought he was going to be out for the season at one stage during the year. And back for the biggest match of the season. Now Great Britain get a penalty, so the pendulum has actually swung here. Now the infringing is all the domain of the Australians. So Great Britain, big chance here. 6 tackles inside the Australian 30. And Long on the restart. Up comes Lawton. And tackle just outside the 20. He's the sole representative of the Sheffield Eagles. Dale Lawton. McDermott on the inside ball. 15 metres out, then back for Long. He's doing some dancing. Got away from Gower. Up for Harris. Harris drifts across. There's Senior. Sullivan decided to stick to his flank. He's coming back in field now. Harris keeps it alive. Morley, 15 metres out. Morley, impressed with what I've seen from him tonight. On the Australian 10-metre line. Senior. It's 10-0 they trail. Harris growing in confidence. Senior's going across and back. And now with Farrell, the skipper, trying to set it up. He's still in possession. Put down by Connolly. And driven back in the defence. On was the call. And with Sheridan. What a crossfield play. Fielded here by Andy Hay. He's in 16 and Andy Hay has lost it. And Australia to survive that onslaught. Now as Lockyer's lost it and Senior is with it. Here come Great Britain. Forward pass from Long. Disallowed. Well, the cross went Andy Hay. I've got no doubts about it. The pass was forward.
Yeah, it would have been one of the sloppiest tries ever seen. The balls were everywhere. On the deck, all over the place. Mistakes galore. Hay makes one. Then Lockyer picks up. Has a scoot. Strong tackle. It goes forward. Senior an offload. And this last one from Long to Hay. Well, it was being ruled forward.
Australia are back with it. Timmins finding it a little hard to get involved in this game. The ball hasn't found Sean Timmins a great deal as yet. And Fittler scored the first try of the night. Inside the 20 now with Wendell Saylor. He's made it his aim to play in next year's World Cup. And with Kamali, across with Smith, quick hands, went past Gidley, was fielded by Girdler. Now Gidley gets his chance and he gets away from the front row of McDermott. Gidley stepping short of halfway. They were trying to effect the Cumberland throw on him there. Dale Lawton. Kamali taken by Andy Hay. 45 metres out. Another quick play the ball. Gower kicking. And he ran into the back of the front row of McDermott. Here is Radlinski coming back. Wigan fullback. Tackled on his 10-metre line. 23, Radlinski. Feels like he's been around a while. Made his first grade debut at 17. Wasn't long after he was in the international scene. Robinson over the 20-metre line. So Great Britain have steadied this match, you must say, having conceded 2 tries with Dennis Betts in the sin bin. They're holding at 10-0, but they need some points of their own. Farrell gets over the 40-metre line. And Australia kept New Zealand scoreless in the second half last week. So they're looking for another 40 minutes of perfect defence. Girdler gets a bad bounce. Line of defenders there. And Andy Hay is the first man to make the tackle. Andy Hay is on debut tonight from Leeds. He's not included in the Australian side tonight. The Sharks pair, Jason Stevens and Russell Richardson. And also the Melbourne fullback, Robbie Ross. But still a chance if Australia can win tonight that they would be considered if the Aussies make the final. Forward pass the call from Pakietto. Well, he's probably been a bit lenient in this part of the game so far tonight, but he's detected one there.
We've got a pretty competitive game of rugby league going on here. Michael Vella took the pass in front of the man delivering. I've been quite impressed with what I've seen from Great Britain when they have the football. And this is one of their better attacking opportunities. A full set of 6 inside Australia's half. And Sheridan feeds and finds Harris.
Harris almost away from Lockyer. He's lost it. Well, was that strict in a two-man tackle? He was trying to pass. Harris lodges a protest with a touch judge. It falls on deaf ears, and Australia are back with it. You be the judge at home. Lockyer's arm is there. So too was Timmins.
A little Great Britain halfback, Pete, needs to start taking them on, doesn't he? We've seen Kamali do it plenty of times. Sheridan so far hasn't run the ball to the line.
Yeah, he's leaving it up to his 5'8", isn't he? Harris does go to the line particularly well. I think Long should spend more time out there. Matthew Johns, he does it beautifully also. That pass knocked down by Great Britain. Is Senior offside? No, but it will be an Australian feed.
So 31 gone and 10-0 Australia over the Lions. Corp Stadium, Friday night football. Game 2 of the Bartercard Tri-Nation Series. New Zealand 1 from 1, having beaten the Australians last Friday night. The Aussies needing to win tonight to have a chance of making the decider. If Australia win tonight and Great Britain win next week, it'll go back to for and against to decide the finalists. November 5, the decider will be played in Auckland. Australia on the attack, 25 metres out, and Britt is the man carrying forward. A couple of offloads already tonight from Darren Britt.
And Great Britain have Andy Hay playing too wide to the right-hand side. The referee will need to call him from the touch judge. He's saying that it was lost cold. That's a let-off for the visitors.
You're leaving early.
I think that's fair enough. From Edgar Britt. Well, Great Britain scrum feed 15 metres out. They do keep it at 10-0. I'm sure that part of Andy Goodway's half-time address will be that, look, the Australians only scored their tries when we were down to 12. We'll try and turn that into a positive. And the Lions with it over their own 20. First time since November 94 that the two full-strength outfits have clashed. And it's good to have the international football back on the agenda. Here's Farrell. Good inside ball for Morley. They open up. It's the Australians this time. And now with Hay. He's 30 metres out for Morley. Then Senior. And Senior dumps it back for Morley. They just won't die with a football. Cunningham. Harris. And now Sheridan. On it goes there with Sculthorpe. He's able to offload. Bit of basketball about the Great Britain play. Kamali's able to bring it to an end. On Farrell. And fifth tackle. Sheridan will try a bomb. Lockyer's coming across. Lockyer takes it without a great deal of pressure on him. Disappointing end to that set there from Great Britain.
Yeah, a lot better though, wasn't it? Good to see Farrell running to the line and some nice passing inside balls which caught the Aussies out back on the inside, and some good stuff there, some promising signs for the Lions.
The sailor coming away from inside the 20. He's left 3 behind, Wendell. And then able to pass back for Gal. And he's over the 30-metre line. A reminder about what we have coming up for you tomorrow on the Wide World of Sports. Live coverage from midday. BMW Cox Plate, the feature event. The conclusion of our Spring Racing Carnival coverage. All that coming your way from Moonee Valley. And here at Suncorp Stadium, Great Britain down by 10 points to 0. Robinson links up with Radlinski. The Wigan pair combined beautifully. Look at the speed of Robinson. Over the 40.
It was a great kick from Brett Camorley into the in-goal area, but the chase left a little bit to be desired. Harris going wide to Farrell, becoming more involved. Running out of troops over there. Connolly, no one on his outside. Finds somebody in his inside. Cunningham picks it up beautifully.
I said it before, they won't die with a football. They're playing every tackle right out to the end. Sheridan that time is wrapped up, 40 metres out. Hitler was the tackler. And Harris steers the ship to the left and then back to the right. It's fielded here by Sculthorpe. Adds some direction to it. They're 35 out. Andy Farrell, cutout ball for Harris. He tries a flick on the inside. It wasn't a good one. And Australia are with it on their 30. Camorley was the man who got to the scraps. And now Fletcher. Nowhere near Morley. Channel back in field.
That's the danger you can fall into against the Australians, looking to come up with the fancy play, trying to manufacture it instead of allowing it to happen. Rodney Howe taken by Senior, who's defended particularly strongly tonight.
Just looking at that penalty count again, it's back to 6-4 at the moment to the Australians, but I don't think they've had a penalty since the 20th minute. All of a sudden, Great Britain are being the perfect football side. And the Aussies have reached tackle number 5. And Pacquieto's 10 metres is getting a little skinny now. This kick, Radlinski doesn't get anywhere near it. He was taken out of the play, and a penalty to Great Britain. Oh, he was poleaxed. Radlinski, the number 1.
Well, to Craig Gower's credit, he didn't take his eye off the football. He just timed his run wrongly. And poor old Chris Radlinski had no idea and no chance. So a big 3 minutes coming up here for both teams. Desperate for points on the stroke of half-time.
10-0. Anderson, oh, he pulled up. Well, he pulled up, he's collected 3, he's come off okay. Rodney Howe is in Disneyland. That is Rodney Howe on screen after a big mammoth carried the ball forward for 10 metres. Howe is going straight to the sideline.
Well, another penalty here for Great Britain. I don't know about straight to the sideline. Took a few detours on the way.
Oh, he's not well, Rodney Howe. They uncovered a mammoth, didn't they, this week? And I think we've got a second one, Paul Anderson. And I mean that in the most respectful way I can. He's a big, big lad. And he's about to get it again. Here he comes, the 17. 15 metres out from the Australian line. Cunningham is a dummy half. To the left with Sheridan. And then up for Hay. Well, this is the testing time. Inside the final 2 of the first half. Sheridan, crossfield, Harris. Can he link up with a support? He might need it. Harris gets there for Great Britain. He's looked the most dangerous player on the park. And he scores their first try. He is a talent.
Look, he's a good player, this kid, Yeston Harris. This was the big hit, well, on a man not carrying the football. Rodney Howe up against Anderson. And then in the next set of 6, after another penalty, Harris takes him on himself, the right foot step, beat Fletcher, pushed through another tackle and improved the position for himself. Nice finish to the first half for the Great Britain team.
Yeah, some good play from the Pommies, and on the back of 5 penalties in a row, he does it on his own, Harris. A great step and a fend at the same time, the same instant. A step and a fend, and away he went. Good stuff there from the Great Britain 5-8.
Yeah, he was the leading point scorer in their domestic season at home. He also kicked more goals than a bloke called Lewis Jones, who used to play for Leeds back in the 50s. It's been a long record. Harris kicked something like 160 goals this year for the Leeds club. This set it up. He did stop Anderson, but Rodney Howe met the full brunt, and he was in trouble before he hit the ground.
Oh, it's an elbow that's collected Howe. First impact from Anderson. Farrell has the kick in the meantime. And their tails will be up going to half-time. Farrell's successful. Bangs it over for another 2. And 10-6 the scoreline. There won't be time for a restart. And Rodney Howe, I think, is happy that, well, he's hearing the bells ringing. And he will enjoy the next 10 minutes just to get his breath back. Entertaining first half. Perhaps not copybook play at all times, but 3 tries in all. And the Australians lead. Australia 10, Great Britain 6. We will take a break and come back with the second half of this second match in the Bartercard Tri-Nation Series, coming your way from Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane. On this Friday night, and the Tri-Series are certainly alive and well on that scoreline. Australia up by 4. They did lead 10-0, and a Great Britain strike just before half-time to Yeston Harris, Farrell goal, and loses at 10-6. Let's have a look at some of those stats out of the first 40 minutes.
And not a great difference between them. They've evened up. It was all Australia for the first 20 minutes. Completion rate, I guess, fairly comparable. 24 uses for Australia up against 20. The line breaks, plenty of those, 9 in total. And the missed tackles again going against Great Britain. The handling errors, Chris Anderson will be hoping to fix up that area. We have a look at the work rates for the forwards. Craig Gow's been out there for the whole first half. He leads the way. Rodney Howe, plenty of hit-ups, but he was poleaxed late in that half. And again, Brad Fittler, despite moving into the lock-forward position, heavily involved. Michael Vella has done well since coming off the bench. Off the Lions, well, there's been no better player on the field than Adrian Morley. In both teams, he's probably been the standout performer. 14 tackles, 7 hit-ups, all of them quality ones. And Cunningham, the hooker, doing particularly well. I've also been impressed with some of the work from Farrell and McDermott at times.
Well, the signs are good for Great Britain on their return for this second half. Lots of talk, lots of signals and encouragement for their teammates. The Australians now return. They kept the Great Britain side waiting at the start of the match. They've done the same after half-time. Notice Rodney Howe is back out there with the Australian side. So too Matt Rogers. Perhaps a question mark that they're not quite 100%. Darren Britt was also injured early in that first half, but he's returned. Now Rodney Howe, I just wonder whether there would be some course of action here. What do you make of it? I'm prepared to clear Anderson. He was bracing himself for the collision.
Yeah, I don't think there's any drama at all with that one. It was accidental for mine, the elbow. He's hit him on the chin, obviously, the blood there, but you're allowed to, you know, sort of raise your arms to protect yourself without delivering a deliberate elbow, and I thought that was accidental.
And the man in the middle, David Pacietto, had his moments in that first half. And we're underway the second 40 minutes. Weston Harris just concerned about his 10 metres in particular late in that first half. I don't know whether it's his stamina that was in question, but I think he was being a little kind to the defensive sides, and that was both teams, Australia and Great Britain. He was letting them creep up. So we're back in motion with Darren Britt carrying over the 40-metre line. And Gower to the left with Kosef. And Jink off the left and running at Farrell. Around low was Dennis Betts. If you're just joining us, Betts spent 10 minutes in the sin bin in that first half, and in that time the Australians came up with 2 tries. Kamali's kick is fielded by Robinson, and he in turn finds Radlinski, who gets away from Kamali and over the 10-metre line. And now it's Sullivan. Back to the 20-metre line. Over the top there was Fittler. Scored the first try of the night. Cunningham pushes up to the left. And here's a penalty to Great Britain. And what a high tackle there.
Yes, Rodney Howe will find this quite ironic that he's the man penalised, going too high on Lawton, and there was nothing in that tackle whatsoever.
Oh, that's an embarrassing penalty. He's just grabbed him around the collar. Didn't even swing his arm.
Hard to believe that Great Britain now in front in the penalty count. They were behind 6-1 at one stage. They're now 7-6. Their advantage, and they're 30 metres out from the Australian line. And to the right with Harris. Betts straightens up on the inside. Gower topping the tackle count tonight. And Sheridan running up to the line and finding Farrell. Spun around in the Howe tackle. Only half is Cunningham. He darts away. Here's trouble. Cunningham and Lockyer. And Cunningham is half a metre short. Last tackle. They trail by 4. Real problems for the Australians if Great Britain score here. It's a loose pass. It's fielded by the big bloke McDermott. They have to keep it alive on the last with Senior now. Can they get a kick in? Senior's pass has found Robinson. And Robinson against a broken defensive line. Kicked along the ground by Cunningham. Fielded there by Lawton. He's lost it backwards. And now they're 35 metres out. And still the last tackle. I think Harris, well, his memory had lapsed. He couldn't remember if it was the last. And now Lockyer on the end of the kick. Well, I said as we went to half-time, it hasn't all been textbook, some of this play, but it's been exciting. And Lockyer, the counter-punch there, almost back to the 30. Sailor. Attracting 3 defenders.
Well, really, Australia would have been better off allowing Great Britain to keep the ball alive. They might have ended up with it back on about halfway.
Cruel but fair. The Australians inside their 40. To the right, they come with Kosef. That was knocked down by Harris. It'll be a knock on, will it?
Offside, guys.
Well, he's ruled offside.
Over here, over here.
Interesting to see whether the Australian player touched it before man who was penalised. Sullivan knocks the football down. Kosef dives at it. No, in fact, call was good. Lawton was offside and touched it before Kosef got there.
Opportunity back with the Australians. Rodney Howe running. And they're hammering him at the moment. Cunningham and Lawton. 35 out from the line with Darren Britt. He just put a little step in his work, which Howe hasn't done. Gower got it on the half volley. And rounded up there by Morley. And now Gower may be hurt in the tackle. He was slow to his feet. He's okay. Kamali. The second man play there. Fletcher. Quick hand for Lockyer. Here come the Australians back inside. Kamali. Kamali gets there. Australia's third try.
I'll have a look.
In fact, he will call for the video referee.
Yes, his first reaction was to say, no problem.
I've got it.
That Brett Kamali had every right to continue on and put the ball down. I think that that's what the replay will show. I think Gary Conley is coming across in cover. I think he let go of Kamali, and that means that this will not be a double movement. That's what it looked like. What did you think, Paul?
Yeah, it just depends if he had hold of him by 1 foot. He didn't, and he's allowed to get up and go on. So this will be correct weight, no dramas at all. And some good ball play there from the Aussies. Conley, a desperation tackle, but he's able to get up now and go on with it. So it'll be a green light by Dennis Spagarino, the video ref tonight.
And again, Darren Lockyer, his injection into the play proving too much for Great Britain. He's been fantastic tonight for the Australians. Very, very dangerous. Almost plays like a second 5'8" at times. And there's the try signal.
So Kamali try at 14-6. As we watch it again, I can give a report on his opponent from last week, Stacey Jones, the New Zealand halfback. It's bad news tonight for the Kiwis. Kamali gets the 4-pointer here, but New Zealand played a match tonight against Tonga. They won 74-0, but Stacey Jones suffered a broken arm and will not play in the remainder of the tri-series. Disappointing news. Matt Rogers back as kicker and successful. We will take a break. At 16-6, Australia leading Great Britain. For the second time in the match, 10 points is the margin. And it's Australia up. And Rodney Howe running back. They will not go low on Rodney Howe. They probably haven't taken him any lower than the chest all night. Here's Sailor. Another fighting match starts out and trying to get Wendell to ground.
Wendell Sailor is one of the main reasons that Australia find it much easier to get out of their danger end from restarts. Wendell comes in off his wing and invariably picks up 15-20 metres. And in a short period of time, you're in a good kicking position close to halfway. Kosef takes it 2 metres from.
Craig Gower with Kamali, playing with great confidence. The Melbourne halfback. Radlinski on fullback, and beyond the 20-metre line. The kicker of the football gets there first. And now Robinson to the 30. And Sullivan. Well, the Heads haven't gone down having conceded that try. But, just in need of a few runners in this set of 6. The blokes looking over to their left and right to see who's going to do the work. Harris, the 5'8". I think they've had a front rower carry forward in this set.
Let him go. Let him go now. Let him go.
Right on halfway. Infield. Better stuff here from Morley. And Morley just ricocheted away from one attempted tackle. It wasn't a good one. And then offloaded. So they're 40 metres out. Sheridan passing for Farrell. And a cutout ball for Farrell probably wasn't required because Connolly is manhandled by Timmons. It had to go through the hands that time. Radlinski kicks from just outside the 40. And Lockyer. Over the 20 he goes. A spin into the knees there of Connolly. Saylor gets another gallop. Does a spin. And he comes back infield. They're trying to pick him up. Anderson was driving low in the tackle with his captain Farrell and also Lawton. 3 forwards on the winger. Now Fletcher. Over the 40-metre line. Ray Gower for Darren Britt, running freely. There are some signs here that Great Britain are dropping their guard. The Australian forwards allowed to run a good 10 metres. And Kosef this time wrapped up. 5th tackle. And Gower. Britain appeared to be inside the 10 on the right side of the field there. Robinson falls back to the in goal. He's got plenty of speed to get out of there. And somehow he ducks under 2 defenders. Basically dive through. And now the opposite winger, it's Sullivan. And followed up by Sculthorpe. Good run from Sculthorpe over the 20-metre line. Gives them some breathing room. And now he's earned his side a penalty. A quick play the ball from Sculthorpe, and Farrell took off.
Yeah, Andy Farrell's blowing up because he felt the referee should have played advantage. He could feel as though something was unfolding.
8-7 now, the count. Anderson runs straight through Brett, who comes again around the ankles, but Anderson is leaving a mark on a few of the Australian forwards. Here's Cunningham with a marker square there. Cunningham passing for Long. This is Sean Long. 20 metres out, and Howe devours him in defence. Sculthorpe to the right with Farrell, and then back to the left. Lawton, 15 out. Pressure on the Aussies all of a sudden. They're not home yet. They lead by 10. Harris drifts across the park. Inside for Morley. And that time it was Fletcher over the top. Kamali, or rather Conley, is 5 metres out from the line. There's 3 in the tackle. The pass was done back for Harris. It's play on for Great Britain. And there is a chance here. Farrell, he's 5 metres out. Passes over the head of Robinson. And the touchy flag is up. In fact, he was tempted to put a hand on it himself.
They had some space there, but they went into panic mode. Did a couple of things they didn't have to. A nice little chip back there. Then another one from Harris. Long the ball to Farrell. He drifted across the field. Sculthorpe would come back on the inside to nowhere, and then that pass was just very ordinary.
If Farrell throws the ball back inside to Radlinski, he strolls him next to the posts.
Sean Timmins used to really see the open space in this match. And Fittler. If they do win tonight, Australia, it'll be interesting to see what Chris Anderson does if they qualify for the final, what he does in the centres.
I hope Rodney Howe had a look in the mirror at half-time just to make sure that there was no target somewhere on him. Because every time the big number 10 has taken up, they have rushed up to confront him. Matthew Johns feel it the same way. He's been absolutely outstanding tonight, Adrian Morley.
Gower gets just inside the Great Britain half. And there's Kamali. Always runs up the kick. He got a shoulder from Anderson after getting rid of the football. There wasn't a great deal in it. It was just a fraction late. He's okay, Brett Kamali. And the Lions are back with it. And it's Radlinski going across field. Game 2 tonight, Game 3 of the Bartercard Tri-Nation Series is next Friday from Ericsson Stadium. As Great Britain make the gap, they will feature in the match against New Zealand. Harris passes inside. Sullivan linked up in support. So Great Britain versus New Zealand next Friday night. And the Lions are on the attack, 35 metres out. Farrell's left foot kick came off the legs there of Villa. It's fielded by Jason Smith. He's ruled knock on.
Yeah, I thought Timmins actually knocked it on, but I thought he was offside as well after it hit Smith on the legs. Once again, you've got to question this option from Farrell. He's looked out wide, probably saw that there was no one home for the Aussies. It's come off Smith, off Villa. Smith and Timmins well in front.
So Long has taken over the scrum base, the 14.
Come on, Greg.
And now they attack with Andy Hay. He's 15 metres out. On debut from Leeds, Andy Hay. To the right they come, Harris. Infield they come with Anderson. Anderson running at Villa. And rides him to ground 10 metres out from the Australian line. To the right, Harris, first receiver. Then Sean Long. Then Radlinski. The exchange is good from Great Britain. And Long is tackled 2 metres out. He didn't have to pass. He did not have to pass there. And the Australians are with it and Sailor.
Well, for everything they're doing right, the Pommies, they're doing another thing wrong, aren't they? A nice set play there. Farrell went through, juggled the football. This pass was good. Great tackle from Lockyer. And that was just a ridiculous pass there from Long.
In the past, we might have said that Darren Lockyer had a little bit of trouble with front on defence on his own line. I think tonight, possibly 4 try-saving tackles. And that was another one of them. Again, Morley coming up with a great hit there, so it's happening both teams.
Possession is levelled up. And we have a game if Great Britain can score next. Kamali's kick fielded by Robinson. And what you like about Robinson, the moment he gets it, it's straight to top gear. Doesn't muck about. Stolthorpe. And infield Radlinski. Oh, that pass to Senior. And that one an error at that part of the field. On their own 20. Cunningham passes up here for McDermott. Big Barry goes over the 40-metre line. Smith and Johns with the tacklers, and now another penalty to Great Britain. 9-7. And I swear the penalty count is about 8-1 since the 20-minute mark to Great Britain. An amazing turnaround. Just down to 12 at the moment. I think it's Sullivan who's way back on his own 10-metre line for the Lions side. He's with the trainer, so they are down to 12. And it's Harris passing there for Hay.
And that's where he should have been, Sullivan. On the outside of that, there was a possible try on, but he's just coming back into the play now as McDermott goes forward.
The next time you see Harrison, he'll have the big bandage around the forehead. They've turned it over again, Great Britain, in the attacking zone. That will hurt. Girdler, good ball for Lockyer. Then back. Great attack by the Australians with Matthew Johns to the 40.
Well, I think it's fair to say that Great Britain probably created more chances than Australia. But at the end of the 80 minutes, the Green and Goals will have taken advantage of the ones that they have.
Aaron Britt, another bumping run. Dermott was there with Morley. Most of the big defence. Oh, Cunningham and Morley were involved. Cunningham will be called out.
Yeah, no shortening that, but you started here, you've got to keep it here, all right? Don't creep up. Keep it down.
Sigh relief from Kieran Cunningham. You saw what happened last time they went down to 12. Here's a sign of respect. They're going to go for goal too. Watch this.
Yeah, well, it bounced up off the football. That's a good decision from the referee. And the decision now to kick for goal is a mark of respect, but it also will extend the lead if Rogers is successful to 2 converted tries. That's much more advantageous than leading by 10.
Rogers last week, a try and 3 goals. 24 his career tally. Nice off the boot from Matt Rogers. Easy 2. He would have kicked it from 50 out. We will break with the Aussies up by 12. 56 minutes gone. And Great Britain's task is a little harder. In fact, the biggest lead of the night now, 12 points. And one would think any more points for the green and gold and it's game over. Wendell Saylor. What a high pass there from Gower. He's beaten 2 and 3 again. You'd want him running for life, Wendell Saylor. And Darren Britt tackled short of the 40-metre line. And a couple of tackles they've made good ground. Nick Kosef. Great Britain side, they've thrown away the short kick-offs. There's completion rates. Well, that's probably a worry for both coaches, Chris Anderson and Andy Goodway. Robinson's on the kick again. Little goose step and then away for Radlinski. Straight line of Australian defenders there.
Have a look for me, waiting.
Keith Senior. 30. And now Long up for McDermott. Here's one of those untidy balls that really has been part of their play. I won't see a feature. Many passes have been fielded on the bounce that have put pressure on teammates. Betts, good tackle. Driving in was Brett on Betts. And then Sheridan to the left with Farrell. Almost to halfway goes the captain. 5th tackle again. And Harris quickly out of dummy half, but he's turned around Lockyer. He'll want this one to pull up. It won't. And they will just jog back to the 20. I like this tackle of Darren Britt. Good technique on Betts. Matthew Johns just went along for the ride. Kosef rounded up. He's lost it. I don't think that was stripped. Well, here's a chance. Great Britain will have a scrum feed. 25 out.
Yeah, a couple of the Aussies arguing it went backwards. He's had a pretty strong game tonight, Nick Kosef. A lot better than last week. Struggling in the tackle. Is there a strip? From Dennis Betts, he had his hand in there somewhere, or from Andy Hay. And it did go forward. So Great Britain on the attack. They need to score.
Approaching the last quarter of the match, Robinson. Back there with Conley. Conley across field. 21st test. Hasn't scored a try, Gary Conley. And Long from dummy half. Wrapped up there by Kosef. A waste of a tackle. And forward with Lawton. He's inside the 20 now. Long is having more of an impact in this second half. Sheridan, then for Farrell. He is dumped in the tackle, 10 metres out. Betts. And they come to the right. Betts is handled there by Matthew Johns. Again, they appear to have wasted a tackle. Long's left foot kick. They're charging through. Tough bounce here for the Australians. Kamali. Oh, that was close. 18-6.
A really poor play from Dennis Betts, the play before. It was wasted, but a nice kick on that occasion from Long. Kamali knocking it back. Radlinski grabbed him. The little halfback able to recover. So a good end to the set of 6 for Great Britain, who will keep the pressure on.
Line dropout, hanging up. Doesn't in fact make it out to the 40-metre line. Lawton carries back. Tackled 30 metres from the Australian line. And now in opposition 20, that's another statistic that has turned around. Peter Sterling suggested Great Britain have had the greatest scoring chances. They've had the possession inside the 20. Farrell inside for Conley. Robinson was there, didn't get it. They're 15 out. Dennis Betts passing for Sheridan. Then for Harris. He's still the danger player. Hay standing wide and wrapped up. Senior, Harris, stepping, away from Girdler. Quick hands there for Long. They're 5 metres out, Great Britain. Last tackle and they trail by 12. And there's still a chance. The kick at the finish is fielded by Rogers. Rogers, he's trapped in goal. And another line drop out.
Well, they're getting a good result, aren't they, Great Britain? You have to say their execution of their plays hasn't been brilliant. They're not really working the Australian defence. Australia are defending as well as they have to, put it that way. On this occasion, Matt Rogers had nowhere to go. So another set of 6, and I think that Andy Goodway will be looking for something special from his troops, because time is starting to run out for them.
Yeah, but again, Paul, they've got to remain patient, don't they? They're only 2 tries behind, and they've been guilty all night of just trying to throw the miracle pass and taking all the pressure off. If they can't score at the end of this set of 6, put it in the in-goal area again or put up the bomb.
Anderson was tackled. We saw in that replay a cut behind the left ear of Matt Rogers. Lawton taking in the tackle of Fletcher. They're on that Australian 20. They've set up tent there now. As Harris comes across field and backwards. He's done that a few times in the match. Robinson, he does the same, but to the left. He's beaten 3. He might want to beat all 13. He might have to. Robinson, he's 10 metres out. He is exciting, isn't he? Jason Robinson. And they attack to the left, Senior, passing for Farrell. Then for Sullivan.
But a really bad option again. It was 2 against 6. As Senior comes back, looking to link up with some fellow players.
Well, they're covering some metres here. Like a marathon across field. And they still haven't made their way inside the 10. It's with Conley. Spun around, long, hands there for Radlinski, then for Robinson. He'll go across field. Then with Sheridan. He thinks about straightening up. He thinks that's something new. It's 20 metres out. Now Long and Farrell. Last tackle. Farrell's kick is good. Lockyer's under pressure. Lockyer takes it. Australia survive a 3rd set of 6.
Oh, they've done well there, the Aussies. Great defence from them. Well taken by Lockyer in the end. He settles things down. Wherever the Great Britain players went then, the Australian defence was there to meet them. And Saylor, he won't score here. Away he goes.
He's over halfway. Fanny called it early. And there's no doubts for Wendell. It's a walk in the park at the finish. And one would think the Australians have wrapped it up.
Yeah, that's wrapped up now. And Wendell Saylor, he deserves something like that. Maybe not that simple, but he's been Australia's outstanding performer in the 2 matches. Just too much strength for Sean Long. Missed a tackle in the middle of the ruck. Nobody at home behind in cover. And Wendell Saylor, he get a little bit of a headbutt here at the end, does he? Bang.
Yeah, great stuff. He was Australia's best last week. You have to say the forwards have played well tonight, but every time he's got the football, he's made 10, 15, 20, 25 metres. On this occasion, he makes 75. The defence was nowhere to be seen. He'd beaten the 3 or 4 early, and then it was all over Red Rover.
And absolutely heartbreaking for the Lions. They've been attacking down there for the last 6 or 7 minutes. Had some chances, and then they concede the softest of tries and an easy conversion as well.
Rogers over. 24-6. 16 remaining. 16. Now with Fletcher.
He went through a rough patch early in the year, didn't he, for well, as the Broncos did. But Wendell, he just wasn't his usual self. Swinging arm here from McDermott has cleaned up Jason Smith. Seemed to be a bit of intent in this one as well.
With the report. Mate, no. You're coming in and you're not going low enough, all right? That's all I'm calling. It is. Listen. Andy!
Called for Andy Farrell,
Yeah,
the captain, to join Barry McDermott here.
Just listen. I'm not going to let the game degenerate, all right? It's been going good so far. Silly things like that, and this one's going on report, okay?
Barry McDermott on report there.
Right, mate. Where am?
Looks like a big bouncer, Barry McDermott. Oh, and that has corrected Smith. And he will be bruised and battered tomorrow. Rodney Howe bounces away from Anderson. They collide again. Howe came out on top that time, and the Australians get another penalty.
Wait up. Good time. Now stay there and wait for the tap. Over here, mate.
Gower wants the tap. And now it's Vella. Streets up as he gets to the defence of Cunningham. Australia back in front on the penalty count. They're in front by 2 now.
Yeah, 3 in a row for the Aussies. And you'd think that Australia can go right on with this now. They'll go for another try.
Great Britain a frustrated lot right at the moment. There'll be more frustration in a moment as Gidley gets over. The young Newcastle centre scores his second test try. Again, the video referee will determine whether it's all clear. And Gidley, all strength to get over.
Sorry, Andrew. Again, the only question mark is whether there is a double movement involved. Senior came up with a tackle on Gidley. But whether Gidley went to ground and improved the position, well, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah, she's a try for mine. The elbow, the arm carrying the football never touched the ground, and he was still moving. So the tackle had not been completed. So for mine, it's a try.
And again, you look at the body language of all the players out there. The Australians, in no doubt, they're already back over the halfway line. And that's the reason why. And unfortunately for Great Britain, the scoreline is blowing out. It has not been as easy as the 28-6 scoreline may suggest.
And this is a very important last 11 or 12 minutes for the Great Britain side, because they're not out of the contest. I mean, next week they play New Zealand, and they need to hold Australia to as little points as possible. It's got out to 22 now. They'd have to defeat Great Britain by 24 or more next week to make the final. Is that right, Fossey? Doing the sums quickly.
Blimey.
Can you tell him to put his shoes and socks back on, please?
Was that logarithms? What was that? I just can't work it out. Put it this way, they'll need to win by tonight's margin and more. Rogers' kick is over from Matt Rogers. That rubs salt into the wounds. 30 points to 6. 13 remaining. And we watch Matt Gidley, who has made it 2 from 2 in his test career.
And there's no excuse not to have a better defensive line set up. It was the first tackle from a restart from a tap penalty. Really, you've got to make sure that all your players are outside the men they're defending. That wasn't the case with Senior and Gidley. And to add insult to injury, Matt Rogers, no problems from the sideline.
Professor Horton has gone for the pad and pencil.
And the abacus.
We might not have time tonight to get to the bottom of the equation. It'll be more than tonight's margin that Great Britain will need to beat New Zealand by.
The bottom line is, though, if there to be any chance to make the final, then they've got to put some points on the board, or at least hold Australia to 0 in the last 10 minutes.
And Vella getting more game time this week, Michael Vella, and I think he's enjoying the confrontation with some of these big British forwards. Gower, one of the rare times he's run from dummy half. He leads the tackle count, Craig Gower. Kamali, a short kick now from Kamali. Charging through is Smith and Fittler, they collide. And it's Radlinski who comes back with it.
There are too many cooks spoiling the broth on that occasion, as Sullivan steps out of dummy half. And again, Brett Kamali, lovely vision. Summed up the situation, a whole heap of grass in behind the defensive line to kick into, and they just had too many players there getting in each other's way. But Australia have the football now with Craig Gower. No, in fact, it's Ryan Girdler, and he goes close to the sideline, 35 out.
It comes about from another Great Britain turnover, and they are trying to attack. Now Sean Timmins. 12-11, they're handling their account. And Gower with Kamali, 25 metres out. They play the ball. Gower, one-handed pickup. Kamali, then in for Lockyer. And Lockyer passes back and forward.
Yeah, forward pass there.
Gidley was over for his second.
Call from the touch judge for referee David Bakioto. And unfortunate, because there's a nice little move there. Inside ball from Kamali. Does it go forward? It looked a bit sus, but for mine it went from the hands backwards.
Yeah, I've seen worse ones let go. And I do think the fact that Kamali was pushed back as he passed the football may have accentuated it. I think it was okay. They've handled the pressure well tonight, the Australians. They've come into this Tri-Nation tournament as favourites. A loss tonight would have seen them bundled out.
Oh, hang on, he's turned the clock back 25 years, Pacquiao, with a scrum penalty for striking early in the scrum. That will do me.
Well, a wonderful kick here from Andrew Farrell.
Well, there it is. Graphically shown. And a scrum penalty.
Just back on handling the pressure. They've been patient, the Australians. And they will keep a great record intact. Have not lost 2 test matches in a row since 1978 when they were beaten by the French.
20 metres out. And to the right with Long. And then with Harris. And back for Farrell. Collected ball and all. 3 though. Majority of the work done by Nick Kosef. He locked up the ball. Harris fending away from Kosef. With it is Cunningham. This crossfield plays collected high there by Girdler.
Low. Caught in. Same thing. Come here, mate. Point. Red.
And the fact that the referee is calling for Brad Fittler suggests that this will go on report as well.
General warning this one. We're getting tired, we're getting high. I need you to show some discipline, keep low. General warning this time, all right?
General warning.
Well, here it is. I'm just trying to think of an analogy. It's a bit like one of those duck shooting galleries. They run off, so they go across to the right and back to the left, and you just got to pick them off. And that time Girdler went a little high. But we have seen plenty of crossfield running. And maybe we're not giving enough credit to the Australian defence. 5 metres out, the Lions. Was that a knock-on? It comes back for Harris. And then for Long and on for Anderson. A run around, fielded there by Sculthorpe. He's 15 out. And wrapped up by Girdler. Long at dummy half. They scored 1 try just before the break with Harris there 5'8". And they reduced the margin to 4 at that time. Long links up there with Harris. He's 10 metres out. Wants a straight runner. It's Sullivan, who's aged a little tonight on the left wing. It's batted back there. Fielded by Morley. He's been their best forward. Now Cunningham. He passes for Robinson. The defence comes up. They're pushing them back. Now Long. Now Conley. And wrapped up over the top there by Timmins. They come back to the left. Robinson. He'll have a go himself. That time he's taken the ground 5 metres out. It is the last tackle. Well, they need an attacking kick this time. Harris doesn't get a clean passage through. Fielded by Rogers. And the Australians safely back with it.
That set of 6 there would be very good for Chris Anderson. He'd be very proud of his players there, because Great Britain actually they must have put 10, 12 passes together at one stage, and they still held them out. That's been the most impressive aspect of Australia's win tonight. As Kamali goes through.
Brilliant play on the lead-up from Brett Kamali. Now Lockyer. And Lockyer will sprint away. One of his Brisbane teammates did it earlier, Saylor. Lockyer gets his own. And the Aussies in cruise mode at 34-6.
And the same combination will call back not that long ago for a forward pass. No problems with this one. Darren Brett breaking the line. Found Brett Kamali. He was tugged back by the jersey, and Darren Lockyer on the fly. Wonderful support player as well. Probably an aspect of his game that we don't talk about enough. He is always in the right place at the right time because he puts himself there.
Good stuff. Kamali's had a great game, and Lockyer came from nowhere. He's at Wyong. He's found the cutaway, and he got through 4 of them. Found a gap and strode through, and then went an easy 60 metres. He's had a big game tonight, Darren Lockyer. Been a great performance from the Australians. They've turned it around from last week. Their second half last week was pretty good. They came storming back into that match against New Zealand, and they've carried it on tonight.
Rogers has the kick from in front. I can only wonder what our viewers in the north of England are trying to work out. The cutaway at Wyong right at the moment.
Well, liken it to an inside run at Pontefract. And you'll know that he's talking about a race course. There's Darren Britt, who's toiled hard again tonight. That's what you expect of him. Getting the arms free. Brett Kamali, he's looked much more confident tonight in the number 7 jersey, representing his country. And Darren Lockyer, just the one-handed take through the left arm out. Paul pointed out earlier, it may have been Andrew saying that he glides. He doesn't run.
Finish off, guys, finish off. Wait.
He's wonderful to watch.
I reckon he's the quickest in Brisbane. Restarted play, 36-6. And the heads are down as Saylor runs back up. Went straight past one, Howe and Fittler.
Yeah, they're pretty happy, pretty relaxed, aren't they? But Great Britain fans who are watching shouldn't be too downcast. Individually, there's been some good performances there tonight from some of their players. Radlinski, Robinson have played well. Harris has tried everything known to man to get through. I mean, Farrell, I thought, played pretty well. As Gower goes through, is there another try on? Not just there. Adrian Morley's been fantastic. And I thought up front, Cunningham and McDermott and Sean Long.
And that Gower run off a Kamali pass. Timmins. Be nice if the young man can get a try on debut. Sean Timmins. Line breaks. Now double figures for the Australians. Jason Smith. Then for Matthew Johns. And Matthew Johns kicks. Rogers is on the chase here. Sullivan gets there first. And then runs over the sideline.
He thinks
a line out.
He thinks he's in the World Cup. It's the wrong. You're in the wrong country, bud.
Oh no, he had to come back in field. Here, he's lost his compass. Had to come back in field.
I think we've been a little hard.
No, we're not actually.
He gathers in and then he's gone.
Oh, just as well the fence was there.
So Anthony Sullivan over the sideline, and what price an Australian try right here, right now. Matthew Johns. Matthew Johns, it's a short price. You can't get on. Betting is closed. Lockyer scores. And the scoreline is now a little embarrassing.
Yeah, this is a real shame because the game should not have degenerated into this. Great Britain team were ultra competitive for a major part of it because they didn't come up with simple misses like that. Redlinski, he grabbed it in thin air. Matthew Johns would have scored himself, but he made a bird of it by putting on the chest of Darren Lockyer. But I go back to the fact that Great Britain should have had the football.
Yeah, good on you, Matty boy. He's had a great game tonight in the 5/8 role. A bit of controversy too with Matthew Johns being selected a 5/8 and pushing Brad Fittler to lock. One of the selectors, Chook Raper, the great John Raper, blew up deluxe about it, but Chris Anderson knew what he was doing, and both of those players have had fine games tonight. And Matt Johns, he's a great player, Matt Johns, and very unselfish play by him. Could have scored it himself, but they gave it to Darren Lockyer.
I'll tell you the rap on Matt Johns. Andrew Johns, I think, is the best player in the world. I think that Matthew Johns for Newcastle played as well as his brother throughout this season.
Record margin between Great Britain and Australia, the sort of stats we're looking for. 38 points is the record. 42-6 it is. The time of reflection for some of the Lions players. Well, I don't want to go too hard on the bloke. I mean, he's come up with a good take.
Yeah,
he was a little
okay.
off balance.
He's concussed.
And he ran over the sideline.
All right, he did have momentum towards the sideline, but I still think he could have stayed in somehow. And Matthew Johns, very unselfish.
Let's finish well, finish well.
Darren Lockyer.
Wait.
An inauspicious start to his Test career against New Zealand last year, but he's bounced back like the champion player he was going to be.
50-12, 1963. The time of that 38-point margin. And a little disappointed. We have to start looking at those statistics, and of course there were 3-point tries back then. Matthew Johns delivering the pass there for... It's Darren Smith without the headgear. No, it's his brother Jason. And Matthew Johns up to the left. They come with Timmins and then for Saylor. And take it in the tackle of Conley, who did a belly flop having got him to ground. Now Kosev and Kamali. Lockyer. It's sharp work now. Gidley. He's inside the 40. And away from two, Matt Gidley somehow got a kick in. Rogers has got them for speed. Radlinski gets it over the sideline.
Yeah, sparkling play again from the Australians. Great skill from Matthew Gidley. And Almost finished in style with a try.
Well, it will be the last passage of play for the game. Full-time siren has sounded. And a resounding win to the Australians. They have bounced back from that 2-point loss last week to New Zealand. And a big scoreline at the finish. It was only 10-6 at half-time, but a 32-point second half to the Aussies. So full-time here in Game 2 of the Tri-Nation Series. Australia 42, Great Britain 6. Now a big reminder about what is coming up on the wide world of sports this weekend. The sporting action doesn't end here tonight. Tomorrow in Corp Stadium tonight. Wonderful performance from the Australian side. And from all of us here on the wide world of sports, it's bye for now.